The Nippstein Files are getting pretty interesting, guys. In fact, I think Greg is on video number 10. He's got 5 more in the tank, and it just seems to get worse and worse for Jeff. A lot of people are starting to find out that he isn't that nice science guy that he portrays himself to be in his videos. I told you guys in the past, I've had a chance to meet Jeff. In fact, in the 16 years that I've been doing YouTube, I was with BSN for 13 years, had the amazing opportunity to meet tens of thousands of my subscribers, all kinds of other creators. I think my favorite creator I ever met is Max Tuning. The guy is just so genuine, and I'm so happy for his success. And I've also seen people grow up from 15-year-olds smaller than me to 22-year-old monsters going to these events. And at one of these events, I got the chance to meet Jeff Nippard for like 5 minutes. And my initial thoughts in that interaction was, this guy is a conceited douchebag. And nobody believed me, because of the way he portrays himself in his videos. But now it seems like a lot of people are coming forward discussing their interactions with Jeff. Greg, obviously, is one of those people. He's made like 100 videos. And it's starting to paint this situation in a very different picture. People are asking questions. I had mentioned that Jon Bravo was going to do a follow-up video. He hasn't made the video yet. I'm going to get into the reason why. But first of all, before I dive into any of this altercation with Mike and Jeff should have never happened. Mike was in the complete wrong. In fact, when I watched this video, I didn't really care so much about the choke slam. Like the choke slam, it wasn't even that big of a deal. What really scared me about this situation is that Jeff fell down so close to this rack. And you guys know, I've worked in a gym since I was 14. I've built 3 clubs. I'm very familiar with all of this equipment. If he had landed just another foot or two to the left and tripped, and the back of his head caught the hook of this rack right here, he could be dead. He could be paralyzed. This could have ended in a very bad way. And even though I think Jeff is a conceited little douchebag, I don't want the guy to get hurt. That's not the kind of person that I am. So I am not on Mike's side in this video. I'm not saying what he did was right. But what I am saying is, based on some of the things that Greg is saying in his videos, and what I've seen in other videos, especially the Solomon Nelson one, you saw the interactions that they had in DMs and in emails. Paints a very different picture of the kind of person Jeff is when the camera's off and behind closed doors. So this video was posted by by Greg 7 days ago. Wow. It just got worse than Nippard Files. There was 2 really interesting parts in this video. I'm going to play the first one for you right now.
And so me, on my own accord, I decide to write a comment on, I forget his name's wall. He's going to say that I did that on purpose.
You did do it on purpose. Okay, bro. Like, Greg, maybe you got brain damage from that car accident. Him and I have literally been chatting in DMs on Instagram for the last week, bro. The joke is getting old, but whatever. And some of the things that, and it's important that I bring this up because, like, yeah, Greg and I have been chatting on DMs about the Nippard situation, and he's still trying to convince me that Hussein is a 100% lifetime natural because they did blood work, and we've had back and forth conversations on that. And the reason why I bring that up is because when Jeff says, and you're going to see it in this next clip, that he doesn't disclose things and he doesn't disclose private conversations, he doesn't. Not that there's anything bad in our conversation, but that's why I believe him when he says, I know things about Jeff I'm not saying because it was said in confidence, which you'll see here in a second, because he doesn't post every conversation that he has with me, even though he could say, Scott Herman still doesn't believe Hussein is natural because he did blood work, blah, blah, blah. Like, you could make a whole video on it. He's Greg, but he doesn't do that. And on the Hussein subject, guys, I did a video 13 days ago where I actually caught him copying a Jeff Nippard video, basically word for word, bar for bar, right down to how the video was edited. You guys probably didn't see that one. It's right here. It's called Hussein Farhad is copying old Jeff Nippard videos, right? Hussein actually was man enough to leave a comment here, which I thought was great. And he basically said, hey, you're right to call this out after reviewing my video. The intro and hook are nearly identical. I mean, I think he's saving face here because if you watch both videos, like, they're identical videos, bro, right? But at least he was man enough to come here and leave a comment, blamed his editor, whatever, that's fine. And I was nice to him. Just because I'm calling him out and just because I call other people out doesn't mean we can't still be friends later. I really don't care. I don't hold a grudge. I get over things. And I think that's why everyone's so irritated with Jeff and Mike and even Athlean X. They just never apologized for the dumb shit that they did. Just apologize and move on. Everybody moves on. But this was my response to Hussein, because I want you guys to see that I'm not a total jerk to this guy. I said, okay, if true, I'm glad to see you're taking steps in the right direction. If you truly want to help people remain influential in the fitness space, you should be actively doing whatever you can to not be seen as a gimmick. Looking at the like to dislike ratio on your latest video shows that people are not happy with the natty or not stunt you did with Greg and Jeff. Take some time to reflect and figure out your next steps, because everybody is still watching, at least for now. We all make mistakes, but not everyone learns from them. So I tried to give some big bro advice. Now, getting back to Greg's video. This part right here was a pretty big eye-opener for me on the interactions that other people have had with Jeff, okay? So let me play for you.
When I met him at that gym, what you don't know is that prior to talking to me, or shall I say yelling and cursing at me, while I was training with Urs.
Yelling and cursing, guys. And this was because Greg had been making videos about Jeff's girlfriend or wife, right? And I understand. I'd be pissed if someone was making videos about my wife too, and I'd be just as angry. So the anger is obviously justified being there.
He met up with my brother, editor Steve. And what you don't know is that for 40 minutes, while I was training with Urs, Jeff continued to yell at my brother, editor Steve.
So editor Steve has nothing to do with it. Greg made the videos, right? So Jeff is unleashing his anger on Greg's brother. Let's continue.
He asked him, are you recording this right now? After all, I was in a gym recording a video with Urs. And when Steve says no, he then proceeded to say, you're a fart builder.
So Jeff confirmed that his conversation with editor Steve was not being recorded, and then tried to attack him even more verbally to get a bigger reaction out of editor Steve. That's what he's saying right here. So this isn't the same Jeff that everyone seems to kiss his ass on his videos because he talks like this and he shows scientific studies when he does his videos.
Deliberately, on purpose, trying to put my brother down, who's way smarter than Jeff, who knows everything about him, knows the narcissist that he really is, knows everything about that man. You don't know all the things that other people have told me about him, and I'm not going to repeat that because people tell me that in confidence, and I will not break that as well.
And that's what I was talking about before. Like, I believe Greg when he says that.
The secrets that Jeff has revealed to me in private, I told him I wouldn't share those, and I will not do that to this day. Do you remember that day? Do you remember cursing at my brother? There was no apology to him. And when you walked up to me, Jeff, and you said, what would you do if I hit you? I said, I would love it. It would make for the greatest video of all time. And so imagine doing that.
So what Greg just said right there were actually my first initial thoughts when this situation happened with Mike Van Wyck and Jeff Nippard. When someone showed me this video, my initial reaction wasn't, oh my God, he could have died, or oh my God, it was terrible that Mike just chokeslammed him. My initial reaction, because of the kind of person that I see Jeff as, was, bro probably creamed his pants knowing he got this situation on camera, and he's gonna be able to milk it, and he's gonna be able to play the victim, and he's gonna gain a lot of subscribers and get a lot of views and make a lot of money from what he does with this content right here, right? Despite the situation being terrible, despite the fact that it shouldn't have happened, that was my initial thought, because it's YouTube, everyone's trying to get subscribers, everyone's trying to get views. Now, as you can see, this content was brought to you by Jon Bravo Films. Now, if you guys don't know who Jon Bravo is, he's probably the only guy who can single-handedly open Wes Watson's booty hole bigger than it already is with just using words. If you guys watch his videos, you know why I'm saying that. But anyways, Jon Bravo has done videos in the past on the Jeff Nippard situation. In fact, he was the one who broke the story. He is the one who got this CCTV footage of what really happened, and he got annihilated for covering this story. Mainly because people only watch the beginning. You can see right here, right? People don't usually watch the entire video before they go down and leave a comment. And they kind of got the impression that Jon Bravo was saying that Mike was in the right for chokeslamming Jeff, when in fact he said multiple times in the videos that he does not condone this type of violence and it should have never happened. All he was doing was giving a play-by-play of what actually happened in the video and why we're not seeing all the footage. And Jon has actually reached out to Jeff because I had mentioned that Jon was going to do a follow-up video now that all this stuff is coming out about Jeff Nippard. And so you guys are asking me, why hasn't Jon dropped the video yet? Well, it's because he did send a message to Jeff Nippard on DMs on Instagram, and Jeff has left them unread. Jeff knows who Jon Bravo is. He has the channel with the most views covering stories in the fitness space. He's the go-to guy if you want to know what really happens, because he has journalistic integrity. And he said, Jeff, I'm working on a video on the entire situation, and I'm not sure if you know, but I don't release videos without the proper research. I wanted to see if I can ask you a quick question before I work on my video. Thanks. Jeff has not responded because he knows if he does, now he's on the hook. And if he doesn't provide the information, it can be shown that he doesn't want to provide the information. Now, what information are we talking about here? Well, before I get into that, let's remember what Jeff said to Solomon Nelson about journalistic integrity.
He waxes sanctimonious in the very next sentence of his direct message. As far as I know, fair journalistic standards are to at least reach out to the party before publishing.
So basically just showing you this to show that Jeff understands how someone like Jon Bravo operates, okay? He's trying to reach out to get the full story. And I tried doing some research on the event, and I found this video from Mike Van Wyck, and I mean, he got absolutely destroyed, rightfully so. He shouldn't have never let it get violent like he did. This was 8 months ago. Let me play this clip for you.
The issue between and I've had some reservations about making this video. All of this could have been avoided. I would have had no problem just talking to the kid and been like, hey man, this is why this happened. And there's going to be a recording later on in this that kind of shows.
So if you guys can link me to the video, I haven't been able to find the video where he shows all these recordings with his interactions with Jeff. I went on his YouTube channel. I couldn't find it. Literally, the video is right here that I'm showing you. I scrolled up. I can't find any of those recordings. But clearly, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than them just saying, you know, hi to each other in the gym, and then, you know, Mike gets pissed at something Jeff says and he choke slams him. There's more going on here, and that's what Jon Bravo was trying to point out to those of you who made it to the end of the video and you watched this clip right here. So let me play this clip in its entirety for you because it's important.
So now, remember when I was saying, you know, when Jeff released this clip, we only had the 6 seconds, 4 seconds, however long it was. We didn't have the entire thing. So we couldn't see what happened before or after, right? So now I want you to pay attention to the camera, okay?
And that's what he's saying. We only saw the choke slam. We didn't see what happened before or after, even though the cameraman was still filming.
The camera's filming this entire time right here where Mike walks past. We can't hear really what was said, only by what they're saying, right? So we see the camera's filming, but we don't have this footage.
Yeah, so the camera was filming. This whole interaction could be posted from start to finish.
Even though it's being filmed. And I'm going to show you something here now because you could see the camera up into the point where it stops filming. So now he's still filming Jeff this entire time. We might be able to hear a conversation here if we had the sound, but we don't. So all this is being filmed, which is footage that we don't have. At that point, Mike goes back. Okay, now this is key here because what's said over here, and it's still being filmed, we don't have. We do have, not when he says.
So you see, he looks at the camera, he says something, he does this with his finger like, follow me, and he starts walking over to Mike. At this point, Mike is ignoring him, he's doing his workout. Jeff is clearly training biceps, so why would he have to go to this cable machine to do biceps if he's already doing biceps at that cable machine, right? So this interaction, he told his cameraman to film. Maybe he was expecting something different that he could post on his social media, but what he got was a choke slam, so he honed in on that, right? Again, I'm not saying that it was okay, it should have never happened, but what was said in those other interactions?
Mike's name, or I'm assuming it's Mike's name. We don't have that in the footage either. We have the footage right after this. Right after Jeff says something to the cameraman, this is when we have the footage, right here.
Dude, like, guys, hold on. Like
footage
just,
right here.
like you see this hook right here, bro? 2 feet to the left, he would be dead or paralyzed. Like this was very scary. As much as I think Jeff is, you know, not a good dude, I would never want to see something like this happen to him, ever, just to be clear.
And that's the footage we have, and then it's cut off. Now, notice the cameraman. He puts his camera down, okay? His camera gets put down after this. It's
And it could still be recording audio even though it's down.
no longer being filmed by him. So the only footage we have of this part is the security footage because his camera's not filming. You see, he has it by his side. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit over here. And notice, okay, it's still not being filmed by his cameraman. So none of this is being filmed. But my question is this. This part here, all of this, was filmed by his cameraman.
And that's what Jon is trying to get. That's why he reached out to Jeff. Hey, just want to clear some things up. Let's talk about that missing footage. What's really going on? And then this whole interaction that Greg is talking about, where Jeff was insulting his brother for like 40 minutes. He asked if the camera was off, then continued to insult him even more. It seems like Jeff is a bit of an instigator. And I would like to see what really happened there. So you know what, guys? Instead of asking me where the Jon Bravo follow-up video is, maybe start commenting on Jeff Nippard's Instagram and Jeff Nippard's YouTube channel, asking him when he's going to answer Johnny Bravo's DM on Instagram. Paste the link to Jon Bravo's Instagram on the comment that you leave, just so he knows exactly where to go to see it. I think we're at a point in YouTube fitness where the top is finally blown off and people are just sick and tired of all the bullshit that's been happening for the past few years. A lot of people say they want to get back to the golden era of YouTube fitness where it's more about helping people, it's more about education, right? And yeah, I agree with you guys. I would love for it to get back to being more about education, but unfortunately, looking at the views of videos, 91,000 views, 41,000 views, and then a beast mode exercise to hit your triceps harder than you probably have in the last month, 3.7 thousand views because it's not a story and it's not drama. And that's fine because that video will get views over time. But there used to be a day where people were excited or more excited about trying new exercises versus waiting for the next drama video to drop on what's happening in the YouTube fitness space. So will we ever get back to there? I don't know if 100%, but it would be nice because I like making educational videos a bit more. And if you feel like you want to get completely away from the drama, download my mobile game, Wag Me Defense, guys. You can go to my website. You can watch the anime trailer here. It's super badass. You can scroll down and you can watch the cinematic trailer for the actual game. But what I'm going to show you is what gameplay is like because battles are 3-minute intense tower defense battles. And if you download right now, shoot me a DM on Instagram or even leave a comment below. I'll send you a starter pack so you guys can dive right in, get all the characters, and stop battling each other. And you can even join me on Thursday nights on our Kick channel, Wag Me Games, where I stream every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So take a break from the drama, download Wag Me Defense, and just remember one important thing. In life, all you have is your reputation and your integrity. So when you meet people, especially new people, always treat them with respect and treat others the way you want to be treated because eventually the truth does come out. And unfortunately for Jeff, a lot of those truths have been coming out over the past few weeks.